Right. Let's do the thing.
This is a Flying Llama Studios production, internet radio and podcast for an age of nonsense.
And hello, everybody. Hi.
Hello.
I think this is all working. We're testing out some new stuff here on the show this week, so we're a little bit nervous. There's an awful lot more to go wrong now than there was last week, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Anyway, welcome to the show. My name's Daniel Roth, and that over there is the gremlin that lives in your laundry basket and jumps out at you when you least expect it, Mr. Mark Wilson.
That's if you have a laundry basket.
That's if you have a laundry. Do people have laundry baskets, right? I mean, that's still a normal thing to have. Unless you just got like
I guess.
You guess. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, welcome to this week's Babblefish. Hope you've had a tolerable week and weekend, etc. I know we're pretty much most of the way through the week already, but never mind. We're an entertainment show. We focus on movies, TV, games, news, technology, general sort of geeky stuff, really. And just anything else that sort of we find interesting, really. And that's it, really. That's all you need to know. Don't forget, if you would like to head over to our YouTube page, that's all up and running now. That's an addition for this week, actually. I managed to spend pretty much half a day scratching my head trying to remember which account it was I set up that YouTube page under. And then in the end, I suddenly remembered, oh yeah, it was a completely different account that I set up especially for it. But yeah, that's the trouble these days. You get just so many different things, it just gets really confusing. But yeah, so anyway, we've got a YouTube page. Flying Llama Studios. There we go.
Is it actually working there?
I hope it is. I mean, Twitch should be working.
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so, yeah.
Oh, Twitch is working, yes. I don't know about YouTube.
Right, okay. Well, never mind. We'll worry about it later. Anyway, so how are you? How's things? How's life?
Pretty much the same as it has been for the last, 9 months? 6 months?
Yeah, I know. It's,
getting back into working from home again, so. Yeah.
Oh, really? Is it? Oh, yeah, because you borrowed that massive monitor from work, didn't you? Which I'm pretty jealous of. It's this massive widescreen curve thing you're borrowing from work for a few weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm really jealous. I'd like to buy a monitor like that, but they're so expensive. You were showing me on Zoom the other day, and I was just like, wow, that's amazing.
Yes.
But anyway, so yeah, just going to work and.
Yeah. I was just going to say about the monitor. It seems like pretty much everyone's getting them. So.
Yeah, but they are expensive though. I mean, the one
yeah.
I mean, that one there is like £1,000 or something crazy. It's just.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, it's either you can have a totally brand new computer, or you can have that monitor.
Yep.
It's kind of, I don't know, or possibly a graphics card these days. Yeah. Oh yeah, I completely failed to mention as well our movie of the week, which we're going to be talking about towards the end of the show, is Frankie Go Boom, which was actually quite a good movie for a change. I was actually quite pleasantly surprised. There's a lot of actors in there I wasn't expecting, from Sons of Anarchy. Yeah, it was a good movie actually on the whole. I actually quite enjoyed it for a change, which is odd for me, I think.
Yeah. I thought it was something that you would probably enjoy when I first started watching it. So
yeah, no,
I'm glad you did.
Yeah, it's one of the few movies I actually sort of watched and was actually relatively engaged by. So that's good. So we got that to talk about later on in the show. And we got a few bits in the news, really sort of gaming and tech news to talk about. But I mean, really, for me, I don't know if you've been the same way, but I've just found myself sort of sleeping in a lot more recently. And it seems to be...
No.
I know, you're
Still
working from home. This is it. You sort of do, though, don't you? You end up oversleeping sometimes. And
Not really, no.
okay, all right, fine.
Not on a
well,
weekday. On a weekend, yes.
I mean,
On a weekday,
it's
no.
like the alarms go off, I wake up, and I'm just like, oh no, I gotta get up, and I'm so tired.
Yeah.
It's just the time of year, isn't it? It's just, I honestly think that if I had an opportunity to, I'd just sleep all the way through the day, half of the time.
Well, what I usually do is I have the alarm early enough that I just get my tablet and start watching some YouTube just to sort of wake me up.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, by the time I usually have to get up, I'm usually late anyway, so I usually just panic and just kind of run into the shower or whatever, and then, yeah. I just, it's just the time of year where we just want to sort of hibernate, I think, or at least I do. Yeah. Oh, by the way, folks, we've got a brand new show to look forward to this coming Tuesday here on Flying Llama Studios. It's a program that we're sort of resurrecting. It was called Free to Fail. We did that about 5 years ago.
Yeah, 5 years ago.
Was the last one we did, and an awful lot's changed in those last 5 years, hasn't it? I've lost all my hair. Nick's moved
I've
all the
lost
way
even
to
more than I had back then.
Nick's moved all the way to Canada. You live in a sandy place.
I do, which isn't really that sandy.
No. Yeah, so, a lot.
You live in a sandier place than I do.
Even though you live in a place literally called Sandy.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, so yeah, you can look forward to that on Tuesday if you watch any of these programs on Twitch or YouTube, just as an FYI, really. But yeah, no, so I'm sort of jumping all over the place. We got so much to talk about tonight. I'm really kind of struggling to think about where to begin. I mean, I'm trying to sort of stay. It's really easy to sort of slip into some sort of a sort of coma this time of year, especially with the lockdown and everything else. You really kind of have to force yourself to try and stay active, I think, and just kind of keep your mind active. And it's like every single day when we go for our walk that we're allowed to, it's... we have to kind of keep it local, but it's getting a little boring. That's the thing. You sort of walk around the block, or you walk up to the park and back again, and the same thing every sort of day in, day out. It does kind of... I don't know. I just wouldn't mind.
Change of scenery.
That's it, but we can't really. We have to stay here, and there's really not all that much in the way of choices. But I mean, that was quite nice today. We were walking down the road, and there was like a proper rainbow. The sort of rainbow you sort of would draw if you were 8 years old. It was basically one of those. And there was this, it was just a really, really nice, it was like the perfect rainbow. They
do exist.
I know, right? So I thought, well,
but you obviously didn't find the pot of gold.
No, I didn't. I just thought it was, I don't know, it's just kind of cool. I mean, I can't even remember the last time I even saw a rainbow, honestly.
I've seen quite a lot of rainbows in the last, 2-3 months.
Okay. Well, it must be a good omen. Maybe. I don't know.
It'd be nice if it was, but...
Yeah. I mean, I'll take what I can get at this point, honestly. It's
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, anyway, so it was quite nice. I mean, I don't know. It's just the weather's kind of been sort of hit and miss. I mean, I've been looking at sort of the weather forecasts for the UK last couple of days, and a lot of places up in Yorkshire and so on have had a lot of snow. We haven't had anything here. It's like the weather, like I keep saying, this area of Dorset is a little bit of a microclimate. At the best of times.
I think it's just mostly the further north you go, the
colder it is.
Likelihood of snow, obviously. So, Yorkshire is obviously a lot further north.
Yeah, no, it is. We just never seem to get all that much snow down here. I mean, in some places, I don't know. It's I'm not complaining, mind you. It's like, yeah, but still. You keep looking at all these pictures of everyone covered in snow. It's like, where's the snow? I look outside, it's just drizzle.
Yeah, that's all I seem to get as well. Just rain, rain, more rain.
Well, it is that time of year, I suppose. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, I'm just trying to think of any other sort of news that I thought people might be interested in. Bought a new house. Oh yeah, that's right. I don't suppose because at the end of last week's show we were moaning that we were having all sorts of problems, and our seller basically decided to not sell at the 11th hour, which caused all sorts of problems. So we managed to find another house, which is actually better than the original one we were going to buy. So, I mean, that's proof that somebody's looking out for us.
So, win.
Yeah, I know, right? It's a much better house. It's all around just a much better house, and it's already got like a wood burning stove in there. It's got a nice big old kitchen and a massive garden. It's going to be great. I mean, my plan is to build like an outdoor office. You know, you get one of these garden rooms, sort of outdoor office.
Shifting, yeah.
And basically build a studio in there. Because the garden's just huge, it really is. So that's the plan. And I guess we'll see what happens with it. It's going to be interesting. I mean, I was honestly thinking at one point that was the end of it. We were going to have to stay here for forever. But
forever.
Forever.
Yeah.
We're stuck. But no, it actually worked out quite well. And we got a much better place for it. It is more expensive. Substantially more expensive than the other place, but it is a much better house, and it's got a much bigger garden. And on the plus side, there's no chance of flooding either.
Big.
So, yeah.
I mean, it's big enough to fit. What did I say when I looked at it on Google Earth? I worked out it is probably about 7 more of the houses on the same site.
Yeah. We're really lucky that we found a place that has a garden that size. It is a big garden. And it'll literally be our little patch of Dorset. It's quite cool. And just gonna try and make the most of it. You know, just might try growing some vegetables and stuff. I don't know. What do you do with a garden that big? I mean, if you got a family and stuff, it's great.
Swimming pool?
Nah, not really. It's really only useful like maybe 2 days a year here in England. It's really not. Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I'll just try growing some vegetables or something. I don't know. I mean, like I said, we'll use it for like outdoor office and stuff. Yeah.
Build a hedged maze.
But the thing is, after you figured it out the first time, it's not much of a challenge, is it?
Not for yourself, no, but for anybody that comes around.
Well, all the people they're going to be queuing up to go around and.
Oh yeah.
We'll
They'll
see.
Be all on front of all the newspapers. Man builds maze in back garden.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm glad it looks like we're gonna move some point, which is good. Preferably before the whole stamp duty thing finishes, as well. Yeah. So that's gonna be good. So yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah, that wouldn't really be fair, would it? If you weren't able to move stamp duty, and yet you were able to.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't really Daniel's house buying show. This is, I mean, it's just, I know I've mentioned in the past, so I thought, now that I mentioned, I thought people might have a passing interest, so there we go. So we have found a place, and now we're going to see what happens with that, and if there's any more news, I'll let you know. The only other real stuff to mention is I've been playing an awful lot of Anno 1800 recently, which is pretty much just confirmed to me that I find I'm also doing a lot of Linux stuff as well. Like, I'm just trying to sort of keep my mind active, whether it's drawing, because obviously because of the situation at the moment, you sort of try and working from home as best you can, but let's be honest, you're not working flat out all the time. I'm trying to sort of keep myself active in other ways when it's quiet. I mean, there's always stuff I could be getting on with if I was at work, but I'm not actually there, so there's only so much I can do from home. That's my problem. And so, I'm just trying to keep my mind active and just trying to sort of stay, just whether it's drawing or anything else. But it's really hard when you're in a bit of a rut to kind of spur yourself to do other things, whether it's drawing or trying any kind of personal development. Everyone says, the best way of getting out of a rut is to do something productive or creative.
But if you're in a rut, you don't want to do it.
You don't want to do that. That's the whole thing. It's like a catch-22. It's like a catch-22 situation.
Yeah.
And I found the best way for me of getting out of that rut is to play a strategy game like Anno, and on the side, just do some studying. Just have some videos playing I'm doing some Linux qualifications and a few other bits and bobs. Just have them playing on the side while you're sort of passive learning while you're playing computer games. Nothing too, just a slow burning strategy game that doesn't need your attention 100% of the time. And on the side, just watch some videos. And that helps me a lot. And because, the thing is, when I was thinking about this and talking about this to Stephen, I was saying the hardest thing for me, personally, is getting the motivation to study and being in the correct frame of mind to study. But the thing is, it's like you don't have to fully focus on it. You can focus on something else, which is quite enjoyable, the computer game, which is quite slow burning and relaxed, And then on the side, just listen to these videos and just sort of passively learn. And if there's anything that kind of springs out at you that you want to look at a bit more, you can rewind or whatever and listen to it. It seems to work for me. That's all I'm saying. Maybe somebody else might benefit from it, but that helped me get started, which is good, I think.
Yeah, I've been not playing Anno 1800, although I do want to give that a go at some point, because I do like strategy games.
Yeah.
But I've been playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Yeah, so have I. That's a good game.
Between,
the thing is, that's so for our listeners, they might not know what Assassin's Creed Valhalla is, but it's you're basically a Viking, and you go around sort of you go around England just kind of sort of raiding and pillaging and all the rest of it, and it's just a very slow burning RPG. These are sort of games that you put hundreds of hours in, right? That it's not, and
yeah.
I think they've done a really good job of capturing, all the different kingdoms and all the warring factions and all the different clans all fighting over territory and trying to align with different kings from different counties or whatever, and actually doing a really good job of sort of realizing what, England was like back then in terms of, it's been raided for hundreds of years. It was just after the Roman Empire collapse or whatever. So basically, there's Roman ruins everywhere, and English society was a disparate set of warring factions, all kind of fighting for territory. And in the middle of this came all the Vikings, and you play one of those Vikings, and then you basically just go around and you expand the influence of your clan, and you have a little village, and you kind of build it up, and then you go around. And it's also a history lesson as well, which I've always quite
to a certain degree. I was really impressed with how close they actually stuck with real life places. I was like, went to
even the pronunciations of how
a few hamlets or villages, small towns. It's like, does that actually exist? Is that a real place? I was looking it up on Google. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think all these Assassin's Creed games, they've changed a lot. They are interesting in a lot of ways, but they're also, like I said, they're a history lesson, basically, I found. And, it's really quite interesting because you learn about all the different kings and the different, it's educational to a degree if you've got like any kind of an interest in history. Because I think Assassin's Creed's been doing that for a while. Especially Odyssey was based in ancient Greece. With all the Spartans and the Athenians fighting each other and all the rest of it, and then
Origins was Egypt.
Yeah, exactly, and they did a really good job of recreating all the various locations.
Yeah.
Alexandria and all the rest of it. Alexandria
they tried
and
doing it as accurately as they could. Obviously, places like Alexandria is a bit difficult to.
Yeah, but they have historical documents and stuff, so they've tried to make it as accurate as they could and I think that's good. So I think if you've got kids or whatever, and you'd like them to learn a little bit about history, genuinely get them to play Assassin's Creed games. I mean, obviously they have to be over the age of whatever it is to play them, but I don't know how. Is there like an
that's
age?
what I was thinking.
Yeah. Okay. So that. Yeah. Okay. Maybe not. Maybe not that.
I have a feeling they might be 18s.
All right. Well, hopefully by that age they'd have a. Yeah. Okay. That was a bad idea. I didn't think that one out.
I've got a feeling it probably is an 18.
Yeah, probably. You do go around hitting people in the heads with axes an awful lot, so yeah, that would make sense. All right, well, if you've got a passive interest in history, and you happen to be over the age of 18, check out Assassin's Creed. They're good games.
I could be completely wrong, then it's only like
I'm sure
12,
you're not.
still.
I'm sure you're not.
Um,
Although, interesting, they do have just the curator mode, don't they, available? Which is just a tour.
Yes, it is an 18, sorry.
Yeah, but actually thinking about it, a lot of these games do have the curation mode, don't they? So this is just it's not the game, it's just the environment, and you go around talking to an archaeologist or a historian, and they tell you about all the things. That is probably more appropriate for kids.
Yeah, those
and they
curation
sell
modes,
that's a separate
generally
thing,
they come
though,
out
isn't
a
it?
little bit after the game's release,
Mhm.
so I don't think they've done it for Valhalla yet, and
No.
I'm not quite sure where they would have what place would be that curated.
What they choose. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
because I mean, obviously with Origins or Odyssey, there's obvious places because you had, places like Alexandria.
Yeah.
In Origins, and Odyssey had.
Well, the whole of ancient
Athens.
Greece. Yeah, the whole of Greece, pretty much. I mean, it's not to scale, but a lot of it was there.
But yeah, but in curation mode, there was like Athens and
Yeah.
things like that. I don't know how you would do it with Valhalla because it's very much little hamlets,
Village,
isn't
yeah,
it?
little mud huts and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess, I mean, mind you, we haven't played all that much of it, so maybe some more stuff will spring out later on. Who knows?
True.
So, I guess we'll see.
Yeah, what I have seen is very impressive.
So, seeing as we're talking about games, there was an item of news that I wanted to sort of bring up that I noticed. Now, a lot of us grew up, especially, I don't know, everyone knows Harry Potter, right? And
No.
yeah, anyway, so, a lot of, it's been around for
I
a long
don't
time.
personally know him, but yeah. I've heard he's a good guy.
You know what I'm trying to say? Most people have seen the movies at this point. Most people have,
Books,
read the books, watched the
books,
movies, etc.
The movies.
They're relatively familiar with the
merchandise.
franchise. Yep, that's it. And pretty much you go anywhere and they're trying to sell you Harry Potter ones or, I don't know, whatever else. Anyway, so yeah.
30 bots, every flavour beans.
I actually had some of those ones. They were disgusting. They started selling those at one point. It was honestly, there was the shampoo flavour and, it was disgusting.
Earwax flavour.
Yeah. They actually did it, and it's revolting. The thing is, you always buy it for the novelty. Just like, I can't believe they did this. Did they actually? Oh yeah, they did.
Yep.
Anyway, so where I was going with this? So there was a game being developed. I think it's been sort of in the news recently because it was delayed. I'll see if I can get the.
Yeah.
So this is being developed by Warner Brothers. I didn't realize that Warner Brothers had a games development studio.
Warner Brothers Game Studios, yeah.
I wasn't aware that actually existed.
Yeah. Warner Brothers make loads of games.
Really?
Or at least they publish loads of games.
Oh, okay.
It won't actually be made by Warner Brothers.
Aha,
probably.
right, okay.
It'll be a third party. Yeah.
Oh, I wonder who's making it.
They do loads of games. They got a whole division, Warner Brothers Games.
Yeah, Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment.
Yeah.
Here we go. Publisher, yeah, that's right. But the games, the development company is called Portkey Games Label. So they're the people, apparently, according to this article, they're going to be making the game. And it's going to be published by Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment.
Wizards Unite? Is that the one?
Yeah, I mean, this is the...
Yes.
So basically, long story short, is that a lot of people that are sort of big fans of Harry Potter, or whatever, or the Wizarding World, rather, they're planning on releasing a Hogwarts role-playing game. And it's been in development for a while, but basically it's been delayed. And I was sort of thinking to myself, isn't that like the worst idea ever? It's basically just a school simulator with goblins. I mean, think about it. I mean, Hogwarts is just a school, isn't it? It's just like it's just a school simulator. It's like today you've got dark magic, and you sat in a class with some guy going Expelliarmus or whatever they do, and being chased by wardrobe.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know whether the books expand any more on their day-to-day school life, but yeah, I can't imagine it being all that exciting.
No, it's basically just school.
Surely they don't spend their whole school life in classes doing alchemy and
yeah. I mean, there's stuff outside of classes.
They must do like history of magic, and there must be. I would imagine some other normal classes like maths and English, and
because that's what you want out of an RPG. Today, folks, we're going to be learning about trigonometry. Take out your mathematics books and open to page 42. Sorry, what? I don't see the appeal. I mean, to me, it's just a... I mean, the movies kind of make sense because there was a story happening there, but... I mean, a role-playing game set in a school?
Spend much time in class, did they?
No. So I guess they're going to have to... You know, it's not going to be based so much... Yeah, but they're calling it the Hogwarts RPG. So it's going to be based in Hogwarts. So the article basically just reads... budding wizards and witches will have to wait a little while longer to delve into Hogwarts Legacy. The open-world Harry Potter RPG, which is supposed to arrive this year, has now been delayed to 2022. We'd like to thank fans...
So it's called Hogwarts Legacy,
yeah. Hogwarts Legacy, which is set well before Harry Potter's time in the 1800s, was reportedly the key reason behind AT&T changing its mind about selling off the Warner Brothers gaming division. So AT&T were hoping that this would be a big money spinner for them. When the game finally arrives, you'll be able to play it on PC, PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series XS. So we don't actually know all that much about it, other than it's set in the 1800s and it's based around Hogwarts. I don't... How are they gonna... I mean, sure, Hogwarts itself is an interesting place, but it's not really big enough for an RPG, is it? I don't know.
Yeah, you apparently your character is a student who holds the key to an ancient secret that threatens to tear the wizarding world apart. So, just like Harry Potter.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically just saying we're giving the game the time it needs.
And just like Harry Potter, you have received a late acceptance to Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, and soon discover that you are no ordinary student.
Of course not. Why would you be an ordinary student? Yeah, anyway, so... I don't know, could be interesting. I'm going to keep an eye on it anyway, see what happens with it.
Yeah, it's... But as you say, if you're a student at school and it's an RPG of you being at the school,
yeah,
surely you're going to be spending a lot of your time in lessons.
Well, yeah.
That doesn't, to me, sound like an exciting RPG.
Well, that's exactly what I was saying.
Today, children, we are going to...
This was literally my joke like 5 minutes ago. That was literally what I was saying.
Yeah.
So, whatever. Never mind. I guess we'll see, won't we?
Yeah.
So we've got a few other bits of news this week to talk about. So no particular order. I don't know if you want to start us off then.
Well, if we're on gaming, we may as well start with the gaming news that I suppose a lot of gamers have actually quite liked.
Is this the Star Wars thing?
In recent days, yes. Mm-hmm. So... it was announced the other day that Ubisoft will be making an open world Star Wars game. Now, this possibly doesn't sound all that exciting,
I don't
Unless
know.
you actually know the history behind it.
I don't know. I think an open world Star Wars game like that could be quite cool.
Yes.
I mean, it's something a lot of people have been
that in
asking for.
itself is very cool. It's the fact that Ubisoft is making it.
Yeah.
Or that is
The thing is,
Ubisoft,
you say that Assassin's
company.
Creed is made by Ubisoft,
Yes.
so they
And
are
Watch
capable
Dogs
of
and
delivering
various
these sort of big open world games. So they have done it before. So maybe they're the right people to do it. The only slight concern I have is that's going to be filled with microtransactions. Oh, you want a pink lightsaber? That'll be £5, please.
Yeah, that's possible, I suppose. But this wasn't the reason that people are excited.
All right, why are they excited?
Yes, they're excited for a Star Wars open world game because
It's a Star Wars open world game, yeah.
Yeah. But the big the reason people are excited is that it's not being made by EA.
Yeah.
Because EA had an exclusivity with Disney.
So they think that Ubisoft will
Lucasfilm.
be able to, what, they have more people to throw at it, so it'll be done quicker, or it'll be done better, or there'll be more of it? Or all of the above?
Well, it's more the fact that it's opening the doors for a lot of other studios to possibly make Star Wars games. Now that there's no exclusivity.
Now EA
with
don't have the exclusivity. Do you think they're gonna do that?
Well, they
Are people going to have the money to, I mean, Ubisoft are a big company. They can probably afford the licensing to make.
No. This is it's Ubisoft aren't having the rights exclusively. EA is still going to be developing Star Wars games, apparently.
Okay.
But
but they're going to basically open it up to other people to make games as well.
Yeah. So Disney's opening it up to Disney, Lucasfilm, or Lucasfilm Games, because they announced the new name for the internal games publishing thing. Because if you remember way back, there was LucasArts, and then when Disney took over, they disbanded LucasArts.
Okay, well, I mean, I guess we'll see. See how many more people step up and, want to make Star Wars games.
I think a lot of companies will start making Star Wars games again because EA haven't had a particularly good track record with Star Wars games.
No, they haven't. They've released a couple good ones.
The best one they've released in recent years was Fallen Order.
Yeah. That was a good game. It was a bit...
But considering they...
bit linear, but it was a good game.
It was a good game. So hopefully we can have a whole slew of Star Wars games from different studios now.
So, yeah, the article basically goes on to... Sorry?
I was going to say, rather than one that's hell-bent on sort of making only multiplayer games.
Yeah.
If you remember, a couple of years ago, one of EA's executives famously said that people are only playing multiplayer games now.
People aren't interested in single players, and then
and then I think
Fallen Order came out and it was massively
year,
successful.
One of the biggest single-player games of all time was released, and he had had to eat his hat.
Yeah. So the article goes on to read, Lucasfilm Games has announced that is making a new open-world Star Wars game with publisher Ubisoft to be developed by the Division developer. So there's a lot of people there that do open-world games, so they have the skills. The news was revealed by Wired, blah blah blah, later elaborated by Lucasfilm itself, which described this moment as Big Bang of Star Wars gaming. This marks the end of EA's exclusivity in terms of license to develop games based on the Star Wars franchise, which we covered, which was announced all the way back in 2013. Now, as well as its ongoing collaborations with EA, Lucasfilm wants to start work with a host of developers to bring games to life using the company's IP. So there we go. They are saying they're looking at pushing it out to other developers as well. We're looking to work with the best-in-class teams that can make great games across all our IPs, Lucasfilm games, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah.
Yeah, because there is mention there of Indiana Jones game as well, which has been announced that it's going to be developed by Bethesda.
Oh, that'd be great. So you'll glitch through the walls and sort of turn upside down or whatever. Or, all your inventory will disappear.
Bethesda.
Yeah.
Bethesda, not CD Projekt Red.
No, I know. Bethesda. This is the... Yeah. So your inventory will basically disappear and you'll glitch through walls and stuff and, it's Bethesda. I mean, if you don't know who Bethesda are, they're a bit of a joke in the gaming world at the moment. All right, well, there we go. That was that.
Well, I don't know whether they're as big a joke as CD Projekt Red at the moment.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because they came out and apologized, didn't they? That was the thing. So, yeah, for those of you it's a very gaming-heavy episode of this week, isn't it?
Isn't it?
It's, but yeah, so Cyberpunk 2077, we mentioned this on a couple of weeks now. It's a what is it? It's an open world sort of futuristic RPG, basically. It's in a sort of dystopian future where people sort of augment themselves with cybernetics and all the rest of it. Oh, my arm's fallen off. I must have a robotic arm. Zzz. Anyway, it's basically that sort of dystopian dystopian future where everyone just kind of attaches robotic limbs to themselves and, augmented eyes and supervision or whatever. But yeah, the game was hyped for years. They were toting this thing as being like the most amazing game that has ever been made effectively. And it fell quite short of that claim. And I think one of the lead developers came out. Was it the lead developer or was it the...
It was one of the co-founders.
Of CD Projekt Red. Yeah. Came out and they said, we're sorry that it hasn't met... It wasn't up to scratch or whatever. And I'm just like, you see that happen so often. All these games, they get caught up in the hype, and then everyone's too scared to stop the hype train. It's like, no, let's try and slow this down. Let's try and sort of put some perspective on this and try and sort of temper expectations a bit. But they don't, because like the marketing people are like, oh my god, this is amazing. Look at the hype train. We're gonna cash in, choo choo. And it just, it's the same thing with Hello Games that happened years ago with No Man's Sky. It's like the hype train. Once the hype train gets going, people are too scared to stop it. Because it's like, look at all this free publicity we're getting. Yes, absolutely. Everything you're saying, yes, it's going to be yes. And before you know it, the game usually falls far short of expectations.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are liking the fact that, somebody that is actually in charge, that makes the decisions at the end of the day, came out and actually apologized. Much like eventually happened with Hello Games, when Sean Murray apologized for No Man's Sky. It's a very rare thing to see somebody in charge actually do that. I mean, EA
actually take responsibility.
Aware,
I mean, the way
EA
Blizzard
done that with something like this, Mass Effect Andromeda, which was a mess when it was released, or what was the Anthem, which is still a mess as far as I'm aware.
You do see a lot of these things. It's like
they have released state, but there's never been anybody in charge actually really
apologizing.
Be out there on YouTube or other social media platforms and say, we're sorry.
We did bad.
We are striving to do our best and we will fix it.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure CD Projekt Red will fix.
But the point is that it's going to be like 6 months before it's properly fixed, and that's why I don't buy games when they're brand new. I refuse to. I always wait a little while, and then I buy them like 6 months or a year down the line. Admittedly, Valhalla is... I did buy that sooner than I would have liked, but I knew that the developers, and I had a reasonable confidence that the game would be in an okay state. And it is. But for the most part, But for the most, exactly, it's a more polished game than a lot of new games when they come out, and that's probably the exception. But for everything else, I tend to wait 6 months to a year before I buy it personally, and that's just from past experiences. And the thing is, it's good that they came out and apologized and admitted, we done bad, because I mean, because a lot of times when the CEOs or whatever come out and they do one of these fake apologies where they don't really apologize, and it's just I can see straight through that. That was a really sort of hollow gesture.
You don't tend to see it very often in specifically where games have come out and they're just terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, CD Projekt, the Cyberpunk isn't a terrible game.
No, it's just it needs another 6 months in the oven.
The thing is, as he mentioned, if it's played on a PC that's powerful enough to play it at its full potential,
it's fine.
It's a very, very good game. If you're playing it on consoles, you may as well just forget it.
That's it. I mean,
it's still a good game, but the amount of times it's going to crash.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, isn't it? Because it's like you have all these different consoles now and all these different versions of consoles, and they're having to not just develop for the current generation but the previous generation. And it's like there's like 6 or 7 different platforms they have to develop for now, so it's ridiculous. It's not just make one game and just publish it out to wherever. It's every single game for every single platform needs its own tweaks and optimizations and this, that, and the other. Mm-hmm. And it's just a massive undertaking. It really is. And it's ridiculous. The whole industry needs to streamline itself and get itself sorted. You didn't see like the Nintendo 64 having like 6 different versions. There you go. There's the Nintendo 64. Done. Whether now it's the Xbox, the Xbox S, blah, 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 and it's just, for crying out loud, it's just...
you've got the one without a disc drive, the one with a disc drive, the one that doesn't do
this and does 4K, that,
but does 1440p or whatever, and
exactly. It's just ridiculous.
I don't do 1440p because that's a PC resolution, but still.
Anyway, but there we go. I mean, it's just I think the gaming industry is really complicated. I think there's so many different platforms, so many different things now, and games are, whether or not we like to think it or not, they're actually getting quite complicated now. They're very big, they're very expansive, they're massive things now, and that's the sort of...
They are, yeah.
Especially a big game like Cyberpunk like that. It's, it's...
Yeah.
Anyway, so we've only got we've only got 20 minutes left of the show. We got some news we still need to rattle through, and then we got to talk about Frankie Go Boom as well, which is a movie of the week. So here's something that's not gaming related. I'm sorry if anyone's fallen asleep to watching the show so far, if gaming's not your thing, but this might wake you up. So the amount of times you type in a password and then it goes, you've only got 2 guesses left. And the worst case scenario is if you get it wrong, your account gets locked and you have to phone up somebody to unlock it. It's not really a big deal. There's a programmer, and this was on the Guardian, I think, this particular article.
Yes, it is.
Has 2 guesses left to access his £175 million Bitcoin wallet.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the end. It's like when you're
there's
watching
pressure.
a movie that's got a countdown timer.
Yeah. I mean, there's pressure for you. And
are they going to do it? Are they going to do it?
But this is a big one. If he doesn't get it right, I have no idea if he can recover his account or what. But the article goes on to read that Stephen Thomas is not the first person to forget his password, but memory lapses are rarely so potentially costly. Stephen Thomas has just 2 chances left to get his hands on his $240 million / £175 million fortune. Thomas is a San Francisco-based computer programmer, and a decade ago was given 7,002 bitcoins as a reward for making videos explaining how the cryptocurrency works. At the time he was paid, they were worth $2 to $6 each. He stashed them away in his digital wallet and forgot about them. Now each Bitcoin is worth $34,000, and the contents of the wallet are valued at $240 million. Thomas has forgotten his password that will unlock the fortune. So he's already entered the password wrong 8 times, and if he guesses 2 more times incorrectly, the contents, which contains the private keys to the Bitcoin, will be encrypted, and he'll never get the money.
Ouch.
So basically it'll encrypt itself, and that's the end of that. The price of Bitcoin hit more than $40,000 last week, having doubled in less than a month. It has since fallen back, but it will still rise. It's expected to rise. Yeah, that's you've got something on your computer, and if you can open it, it's worth $240 million, but you've only got 2 more password attempts. That's going to be... It's not like even anyone would have a record of what it was. It's not like you can phone up somebody and go, oh, can I please have a password reset? It's not like that. It's encrypted on his hard drive, and the only store of the password is the local password store in the actual file itself. He can't phone up anybody to decrypt it.
No. And even if he was to write some software to decrypt it, being a programmer, it'd probably take more time than most people are going to be alive to decrypt it, because I expect the leveling of encryption is going to be very high.
Yeah, I can't even imagine what that must be like. And I just feel so bad for the guy, I really do. Imagine that. Imagine being given this thing, but you've only got 2 attempts left to get into it.
I wonder how wealthy he is anyway.
It's not the point, though, is it? That's a lot of money.
No, it's not. It is a lot of money. I mean, if it was Elon Musk, he'd probably just be like, "Yeah, $240 million, meh." That's...
Oh, cool. So various people have stepped up, saying internet security experts at Stanford Observatory said he could crack the password within 6 months if Thomas gave him 10% cut of the digital fortune. So people are stepping up, and they're offering their services for a cut, basically for. Yeah, well, I'm sure he'll manage it. I'm sure he'll figure it out. I'm sure he knows.
What if they screw up and they completely lock him out?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we can unlock it. Honest. Ah, crap! It's locked.
Well, the thing is, I think they're just going to decrypt it, aren't they? They're not going to try and unlock it. They're going to try and decrypt the whole file.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, so moving on. So everyone's heard of Starlink, which actually not everyone's heard of that. This is a statement, isn't it? A lot of people are. Starlink is SpaceX's internet connection using satellites, basically, and the whole idea is that they're going to cover the globe in a series of satellites and sort of mesh things, so that areas of the world that aren't connected to any kind of infrastructures, really remote locations or whatever, can have a stable internet connection using satellites. So Russia's planning its own, called Sphere. So you're going to have even more satellites up there, all kind of bouncing off each other at this point.
All this space junk.
Yeah. But here's where it gets interesting. Russia apparently is going to fine its citizens who use SpaceX's Starlink internet service rather than their own. So Russia's legislative body is considering fines for individuals and companies in the country that use Western-based satellite internet services. The proposed law seeks to prevent accessing the internet by means of SpaceX's Starlink service, OneWeb, or other non-Russian satellite constellations under development. According to a recent report in the Russian edition of the Popular Mechanics, the recommended fines range from 10,000 to 30,000 rubles, which is about $135 for ordinary users, and from 500,000 to 1 million rubles, which is about $7,000, for legal entities who use Western satellite services. The Russian language article translated. Would bypass the country's system of operational search measures, which monitors, there's a name for you, which monitors internet use and mobile communications as part of the country's tight control on media and communications. All Russian internet traffic must pass through Russian communications provider. Yeah. So, there we go.
Yes, similar to the way that China does it as well. And I imagine North Korea.
But how are they gonna like crack down on that? I mean, if you've got a phone that, I mean, how would they even find out if you're using it? Because it doesn't go through any of their proxies, it doesn't go in through any of their firewalls. It's a completely separate thing. How are they possibly gonna lock that down?
I don't know, if somebody puts up a satellite that doesn't look like a Russian satellite on their house.
But it's kind of ridiculous. I don't understand how they're going to monitor that and how they're going to crack down on that. Like, how on earth would they do that? I don't think there is any way. It literally bypasses all local infrastructure by its very nature.
Yeah. I don't know. Other than randomly checking up on buildings that have got satellite dishes attached to them, I don't know how they...
Yeah.
So, like, you've got a satellite dish attached to your house. Are you using Starlink or the Russian system Sphere or whatever it's called?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm using Sphere, honest.
Yeah. So we've only got about 10 minutes left of the show, so I think we've got a couple of, actually slightly less than that, so let's talk about our movie of the week. We didn't get around to using all the news this week, but there are a few interesting things, like Facebook is planning on hiding the number of likes in a trial aimed at improving users' well-being. So social media giants said the move was backed by anti-bullying and mental health groups. Basically saying some Facebook users will no longer see the number of likes, reactions, and video. Basically, it's trying to stop that cycle of, because a lot of people feed off of that, don't they? You know, it's kind of that.
Yeah.
And they're just trying to stop that loop of, what's the term I'm looking for? There's a term for it, isn't it? It's like when you do something, you get a good feeling from it or whatever, and then you do it again. It's that cycle of reinforcement, basically.
Yeah.
There's a psychological term for it. Anyway, so basically, they're just trying to break that cycle. And, apparently by stopping reactions to your posts, it will apparently help some users.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, I just think it's a good idea for everyone just to get off social media.
You can tell I'm really interested in
well,
people liking things.
It's not so much that,
Facebook.
it's the fact that a lot of people do spend a lot of time on social media because it's kind of like it's their interaction with the world, isn't it? And it gives them a feel-good
support mechanism.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And a lot of people end up doing this and then it becomes their entire life and they end up depending on it and all the rest of it. And I just think it would be a good idea if we could all just get off social media because it's not great for your mental health anyway.
It's not a healthy,
It's not a healthy thing at all. So, I mean, anything they can do like that helps people's sort of mental states, mental well-being, mental health, there we go, that's what I was looking for. It can only be a good thing, I suppose.
Yeah.
So anyway, yes, we're going to be talking, I guess, about our movie of the week, which is Frankie Go Boom.
Yes.
Because we've only got a few minutes after the show. We need to talk about it. It was a good movie. Go watch it. It's got Sons of Anarchy in it. So yeah, I mean, basically, it follows the story of this these two brothers. Basically, one brother's this. He's kind of an aspiring film director, and his little brother, who's the star of the show, is usually the brunt of all his pranks and stuff. He sort of, when he was from a very young age growing up, apparently he was always pranking his brother and all the rest of it, and they sort of grew up and they really didn't like each other because he was constantly doing that to him. And the guy would constantly be going around and making hell for his little brother, basically. Anyway, so
yeah, he would. He's a lot of his videos are, I guess you could call them voyeuristic voyeurism.
Yeah,
It's
basically,
not
and
like
slapstick and voyeurism,
the
and
porn
yeah,
type of voyeurism. But,
it's like he's a psychopath and he doesn't understand boundaries, and
Yeah.
he really did. He always was setting up stuff and situations for his brother to fall prey to, and then he would take advantage of it, film it, and then, his little brother would always come out, looking bad at the end of it, and he didn't really understand what the problem was. So basically, in the end, they had such a terrible relationship. He moved out into the desert just to try and get away from his family, and for whatever reason, I can't remember what the reason was, but he ended up being dragged back into a wedding or something. Was it a wedding or?
No, it was his brother returning from rehab.
Rehab, yeah, that's right. And so his mother basically convinced him to come and support his brother. And as soon as he did come back, of course, stuff happened. His brother was right there waiting with a camera, and he set up lots of, situations and stuff. And it follows the story of that. And basically, it wasn't just him, but he pulled in this girl into it that what was the blonde kid called? Forget the character. Forget the character's name. Was it Jack
Blonde
or
kid?
Yeah.
Bruce.
Bruce. Was it Bruce?
Oh, but Frankie's the blonde one, if you mean. But I
Frank,
think
that's right,
Charlie Hunnam.
Yeah.
Frankie, the title of the movie.
Right. Okay. Fine. I can't remember what the characters are called now. Anyway, so Frank comes back, even though he knows that his brother's going to be waiting and is probably going to be doing something stupid. His mother kind of guilt trips him into to making the effort and turning up anyway. And of course, some stuff happens, and he ends up filming them when they do some, they end up, for whatever reason, bumping into each other, and then they have this sort of an affair or whatever, and obviously he was drunk and it didn't work out too well. And of course his brother was there filming it, and of course the movie went viral and all the rest of it, and of course Frank was embarrassed and the girl was embarrassed, and all this stuff eventually came out, and then they separated and all the rest of it, and they had this massive fight because of it, and it goes from there. I mean, it does have a happy ending in the end, but it's interesting. I mean, I'd say it was a pretty good movie. I mean, it was enjoyable. It was certainly weird seeing the Sons of Anarchy actors play something completely different, because I haven't seen them in anything else.
Perlman.
Yeah, he played I think a
transsexual.
Yeah. So that was an interesting thing. So they playing completely different characters. I haven't actually seen them in anything else other than Sons of Anarchy. Actually, no, the Ron Perlman I've seen in a few things.
Ron Perlman's been in loads of things. Loads of things.
Yeah, isn't he? Thinking about it.
Charlie Hunnam has been in other things, but I think he's found it difficult to live up to Sons of Anarchy, really.
Yeah. He did a pretty good job. I mean, I enjoyed the movie. I mean, in the end, it all sort of works out. His brother doesn't really learn anything, not really. sort of, but not really. And life sort of goes on. But I think in the end, they just sort of moved to China or something. Apparently, him and his girlfriend, and it's sort of
Hong Kong, wasn't
Hong Kong? Was it Hong Kong? Right, yeah.
Which is China now.
Yeah.
Sort of.
So yeah, it's it's an interesting story, and it's got some interesting characters, and I thought it was quite funny at times, and there were a few there were a few moments that I genuinely laughed out loud. I thought were really, really good in the movie, and the acting was great,
I laughed pretty much straight away, right at the beginning with the first scene.
Oh well, with the picnic in the garden.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his mum comes running out. Yeah. Get back here, you little. Yeah, and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was really good. And as soon as I saw that, I thought, Dan's gonna quite like this.
Yeah, no, it's quite good. It's sort of I think a lot of people, had relationships. I mean, I didn't. I mean, I was an only child, so kind of sibling rivalries and all that kind of stuff. I never had that growing up. I was always. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever actually missed out or what, but I've always been, I
don't know, because, having a sister, it was a bit different.
Yeah, that's it.
See,
But the thing is, I don't know any different, but, you know, I can kind of imagine that's what it would be like for most siblings. You know, that kind of sibling rivalry and stuff.
Of the same gender.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that is that was Frankie Go Boom. It was on Amazon. It's a good movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was very funny. It's got some very good acting in it. It's got a pretty good story. It's pretty interesting. And yeah, I recommend it. There we go.
Yeah, me too.
So that's it then. Thank you very much indeed for listening / watching, if you're watching on YouTube or Twitch or whatever else. Thank you for that. And don't forget, if you'd like to email us, flyinglamastudios@gmail.com is the new address. That's flyinglamastudios@gmail. You can always follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/FLSUK. And don't forget to pay attention to our YouTube page. We'll eventually get that working properly. Just search for Flying Llama Studios and head over to our website. flyinglamastudios.net is the website. You can watch past shows, listen to podcasts, and do whatever else. And don't forget, coming up this Tuesday, we've got the very first Free to Fail, which is going to be quite good. We've got a special guest joining us who'll hopefully be a regular appearance on the show. And that's it. So from the both of us, thank you very much indeed for listening / watching. Thank you as always to Forest FM and everybody else. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe, stay sane, and stay...
Warm.
There we
Dry?
go. Dry. All of the above. All right, bye.
Hey.